Well, after I replaced the lower control arms in my truck, one of the things that I was running into was my sway bar Endlinks had to replace. And so I picked up some Moog ones that Amazon said were going to work, but they didn't. Came with this big 8-inch long bolt. The nuts and some of the bushings that go over top of this. But what I found is that when I put them on, my sway bar arm was all the way up here, and you can kind of see that these are on an angle, and it was really pushing that angle really far back, and I didn't like that too much. So I found some 16 millimeter OD by 10 millimeter ID aluminum tubing, and I found some Dorman 12-inch 3/8 spring bolts, and with the engine, with the spacer and those bolts, I cut them both down, and I made my own Endlinks that are still slightly angled but not nearly as bad. I've got a finger width behind the edge of this, the sway bar back here, so I got plenty of room there, and there should never be any issues back there. So I made my own because any of the sway bar links that I was looking at, the bolts were generally around 8 inches long, and that's too long. So this is the tubing that I bought, so you can see it's really thick walled tubing, and then this is the 12-inch spring pin that I've got the bushings on already. And what I figured and my measurements came to was that with a 7 3/4 inch bolt and an 1.5 inch spacer, it gives me the proper length for this bolt and this tubing to make my own sway bar end link. So I've got that one made right now, and I'm going to cut down this bar and this tubing to the specs that I have, and once I have those cut, then I will show you how easy it is to put this all together. So I had to recheck my measurements, and I was off. It was actually 6 3/4 of a bolt. The spacer is still 1.5 inches. So I'll show just for reference. That's the one side installed there, and now we're going to install this side. So there's my end link. End hole is right about there. There's my end link. So it comes up. Oh. Bushing, washer, next bushing and washer. It goes up through the hole, and then we put the top one on, and we put on our nut, and we start tightening it down. I think this is my wrench. Yep. Now the only thing about these spring bolts is that the bottom does not have a nut. It's a flathead. So I mean, if you wanted to shape that into a bolt, you could. A hex head, I suppose you could. You could also just cut it off and put a nut on the bottom and then weld it on. There, so just made my own end link there, so that one's good and tight. We'll go on the other side. On the driver's side now. There, that one's tight. Now we'll just check the other one because that one was considerably loose. And we'll see if this one loosened up. Nope, so that one's good and tight. That side's good and tight. And I now have made my own Endlinks. So just because something isn't manufactured by a big company doesn't mean you can't take 5 seconds or 5 minutes and make something your own. Might take a little bit more research to find it. Knowing that what the sizes of these are that I need now, I might be able to find something made by someone similar to this. I'll just have to do some digging. But yeah, just figured I'd show you how I had to make some Endlinks for this one to get the sway bar reattached. I will list the part numbers and or links for the stuff I use below, and maybe it'll help you guys if you have to do something like this. So thanks for watching. See you in the next one.